Join me on this journey as we explore Weldin Plantation. Why was it abandoned? What happened to this place? Why did it decay? What's going on with it now? All these questions will be answered throughout the video. Also, I'm going to share my experience with how I felt and how I liked exploring this location. The Weldin Plantation Site was named after Jacob R. Weldin, who bought the property and moved there in 1862 with his wife, Hannah, and their children. In addition to being named the Weldin Plantation Site, the agriculture site also has an official designation using the Smithsonian Territorial System, which is 7NC-B-11. The 7 is for the state of Delaware, NC is for Newcastle County, B is the area within Newcastle County that the site is located. 11 means that it's the 11th agricultural site given a designation with that area. Once DelDOT and FHWA realized that the Wellington site was in the area of construction for their project, they hired agricultural consultants to learn more about the history of the site and to conduct agricultural excavations. The earliest records that can be found for the site date back to 1680, although it's unknown if anyone lived there then. The first mention of a house on the property was 1710, so we know that people were living there by that time. At some times during its history, the site was occupied by the people who owned it, but during other times, the people who lived there were tenants who farmed the land in the owner's absence. The first house built at the site would probably have been a small 1.5-story log house. A stone house was built sometime around 1745. It faced east and had a log or frame kitchen addition to the north. Around 1840, a large stone addition was added to the western side of the house. This addition was larger than the original house. The log/frame kitchen addition was torn down at the same time, and the front of the house became the north side instead of the east side. Most of the farm buildings from which we had standing walls and foundations. The milk house, barn, barnyard, corn crib, and sheds were built by Jacob R. Weldin after he bought the property in 1862. The part of the Weldin site that wasn't destroyed through road construction was included in the Ocopocus Run State Park, administered by the Delaware Department of Natural Resources and Environmental Control, DNREC. The milk house had been stabilized, and DNREC plans to install interpreting signs in the future as part of walking trails around the foundations. Around 65,000 artifacts were found during the excavation throughout the process of screening. This involves placing the excavated soil into a sturdy box with a screen on the bottom. The screens have 1/4 inch openings and the soil is pushed through them, leaving the artifacts behind. The artifacts are then picked out of the screen and taken back to the laboratory for washing, inventorying, labeling, and packing for circulation at the Delaware State Museum. lived there for almost 80 years. When they left, the site was abandoned. Why did it decay? By 2000, most of the buildings had collapsed or were demolished, but some of the stone walls of the farmhouse, milkhouse, barn, and barnyard are still potentially standing. There are also foundations of a corn crib and some sheds. The ramp leading to the second story of the bank barn was still there as well.
Mary had a little lamb, its fleece was white as snow. And everywhere that Mary went, Mary went, Mary went. And everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go.
What's going on with it now? Part of the property was later purchased by DelDOT as part of an intersection improvement project. Ruins of the milkhouse, barn, and outlying buildings are now part of the Apocalypse Run State Park. Apocalypse Run State Park began with 123 acres deeded to the city of Wilmington in 1910. By 1996, it had grown to 145 acres. Apocalypse Run, formerly known as the Blue Ball, had been developed by the Delaware Division of Parks and Recreation as additional recreational area for walking, jogging, and hiking.
Takes the dog, hi-ho the dairy-o, the cow takes the dog. The dog takes the cat, the dog takes the cat. Hi-ho the dairy-o, the dog takes the cat. The cat takes the mouse, the cat takes the mouse. Hi-ho the dairy-o, the cat takes the mouse.
In this section, I'm going to share my experience with how I liked exploring this location. This location was really cool. I do plan to go back to it in winter. There was more stuff that was hidden by the trees. Thank you for watching my video. Make sure to subscribe to my channel, like the video, and also don't forget to hit the notification button so you'll know when new videos get released.